Hey, pre-notification gang. Yeah, Daniel will be giving me the lessons again. Oh, whoops. You're going to bed, Rock? Sleep well, man. Thanks to the resub, JR, and the Prime, Jethon. Yeah, I know J-Mac beat the record I saw. Thanks to the Prime, Fridge. Thanks to the Tier 1, Undlaken. What opening do I play? I don't remember anymore. Probably just 4 nights. It's been months since our last lesson. Thanks to the bit Stanny. Thanks to the Prime JBs and the resub Lilith. And the Prime Camel T. And the Tier 1 Biston Hund. Thanks to the Tier 1 KCD project and the Tier 1 Derpy Ebola. And the resub Ronan. Play some TF2? Well, not today. Thanks to the gift sub Polar Bear. I tried the McRib this morning. That was mediocre. My stomach's still upset. Thanks to the resub Stuffs guy. And thank you, Jay. And hopefully I'll still be good at the game. Thanks to the resub Wraith, Vital, Zerbato, Uncle Kev, and the bits Jumping Flash. And a Rolden. Thanks for the Prime, Marty. Your car was almost stolen? How did they almost steal it? Like they only drove a little bit before getting out? Or you stopped them in the process of breaking the window? Thanks to the Prime. You like anime too? You were never good? Tell that to my championship trophy. How many chess trophies do you have, big guy? Thanks to Tier 1 Bailey Boy. Thanks to the Tier 1 Archill and the Prime Sped. Do I still like CSGO? No. I haven't liked CSGO in 4 years. Yeah, with Daniel. Yeah, I know my record got beaten. I saw. Thanks for the Tier 2 gift sub, Mang. Thanks, man. Thanks for the resub Top Hat. And the gift sub Bailey Boy. Kate, you were just out. What's going on? You just want to go lay out in the sun as always, huh? I already know. I already know. Thanks to the bits to Kiri, an evil priest. Yeah, season 2 of Mandalorian was really good. Thanks, Mojo, and thanks to the bits Bray and Cheese. Thanks to the resub Bryn Dizzle. Thanks for the gift sub, the 2 gift subs, Chloe and resub Jesus. What, Kata? I know you don't have to go out. You just want to go lay out in the sun for an hour. I know. I know. Ow. Thanks for the resub, Lutch. Ow. Ah, you're pulling my hair. Crazy girl. You're insane. You're an insane animal. Thanks for the resub, Fuse. What does that mean, Arolden? Breaking the key cylinder? Thanks for the resub, Toboggan. That's what it was, Fluster, yeah. Thanks, Rado. And maybe. In the future. Thanks for the resub, Renegade. No, I'm waiting for Daniel. Thanks for the gift sub, Derpy. I don't think I can beat the 80% record. It's just pure RNG. Where's my water? Oh, I forgot it over there. Hold on. There we go. Thanks for the gift sub, Mang. The Prime Banana. Can I play AoE 2 DE at some point? Probably not. Yeah, but I don't know what you're talking about, Arolden. I know what the key cylinder is, but I don't know what you're talking about. It's not the 16.5 run. It's JMac's new run, which was a 17.5. Well, thanks, Chick, and tell him I said thank you. And thanks for the 3, Otalum. Thanks for the resub, Overbaked. Start already? No, I'm waiting for Daniel. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are some people so goddamn impatient? Unbelievable. Thanks for the resub, Noah. It's a Corsair keyboard and the mouse is a Logitech. And I don't know what a custom board means. Thanks to the tier 1 Fat Prison Wallet and the Prime Altira. And Johan. Nah, I haven't played chess very much recently. I've been doing a couple 3-minute games, like over the last week or so, but those are a disaster for me. Thanks to the bits Sky and Tuddy. Favorite recent anime? Probably Jujutsu Kaisen. Thanks to the resub Krusty Napkin and the tier 1 Yeet. What time does Daniel come? In 5 minutes. Thanks to the resub Suspicious Food 10. And I'm not cutting my hair until, like, a while down the road when it's touching toilet. Happy birthday, Kate. Hope you have a great birthday. Thanks for the gift sub, Maddie. And yeah, maybe Zumi. Thanks for the gift sub, Ethan. Yeah, the JMac run was pretty fucking wacky. Daniel will be here at 1:05, he just told me. Thanks to tier 1 Super Salty Talty and the Prime Cal. Thanks to Prime Shark and resub Mungo. Tell Lucas you said hello. Who's Lucas? Thanks to Prime Adolf. And the Prime Saint Badonk. My birthday's in August. Thanks to the resub, Moby Huge. Had not seen Rising of the Shield Hero. Doing alright, Rope. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Shopify's a real piece of shit. So I wanted to ship them out like 2 days ago. But then Shopify sent us a message saying they're going to have to hold everything and investigate to make sure we're not like doing something illegal. So now I just have to wait before I can ship the shit out. They think they thought we were selling like counterfeit cards or something, or trying to like encroach on Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh's official trademark or whatever. So now I have to fucking wait. We see the tier 1 Dec guy in a bush in the prime Bloodworth and resub Ginger, Maddie, and the prime Lukai. Will I ever play 2K again? Maybe. Thanks, Andre. Have not seen Tenet. We're gonna have gambling on the matches today? Well, no, I'm playing against Daniel. Like, I'm not gonna beat him. Thanks to Prime Tristan. Thanks to the gift sub Jin and the tier 1 Sav. Of course, I'm Moist Meter Attack on Titan Season 4. Thanks to the Prime Derek. And the resub Far and Storm and the Prime Lux. Whew. Oh. Thanks to the Prime Swish. Favorite anime opening? Probably Tokyo Ghoul. That song's so good. Thanks for the bits, Nip. Thank you, man. Thanks for the resub, Minty. Yeah, we'll restock in the future, but we probably won't be using Shopify again, so then we're gonna have to like redo the whole site. Thanks to the resub, Etco. When will you open cards on stream? I'll open more cards soon. Did the DMCA law pass? I don't know. Daniel will be on in like 5 minutes. Thanks to the resub, Red Joe. It's just been a while since Daniel and I played, so it was about time. I've done early streams a lot recently, Select. I don't know. I just like it. Promote I Am Truth. Yeah, man, by all means, go wild. Get like a K-pop stan culture going for the song. It'd be lovely. Any new horror games coming out? I don't know. Why are you asking me? I don't know. I don't make horror games. Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's not easy, Novo. Thanks to the resub Gust. I don't think anyone's going to be reselling the packs. I would be shocked. Like, the packs aren't even sealed. Like, the packs are open at the top. So, if you buy a resale Divine pack, you're an idiot. They could easily just take out the best cards and then swap them for some garbage. Thanks to Tier 1 Dortex and the resub Mulaney. Dildo tier list. All dildos are kind of like the same though. Yeah, it was unfortunate, Pants. But I held the record for a few days. And I haven't seen that yet. Thanks to the Prime Bot and the resub Atmos Starfish. New records of 17.5. Thanks to the bits, Adrian. Thanks to the Tier 1 Burning Moon. Yeah. J-Mac beat it. Yeah, I'll restock eventually. A couple weeks, few weeks. No, those aren't signed, Rope. Thanks to the resub Perseus. Am I gonna do something for Christmas? No. I wasn't planning on it. Thanks to the Prime Fork. No! Favorite movie from 2020? You'll have to wait for the moisties to see. Thanks to the resub, Mangster. Hold on, quick message. Okay. Oh, it's fucking game time. Thanks, Panon. Thanks to the Prime Art Revenant. And the resub Wombat. Thanks to the resub Nubis. Amen, Keith. And thanks, Nip. I hope you're kidding. Thanks to the resub Aladdin. And the Prime Brosophy.
Hello?
Big man, how's it going?
Is this the illustrious grandmaster to be? Turbo
Yes,
Fisto?
yes, sir. Turbo Fisto is back for the throne.
I can't believe I'm speaking to him. I'm gonna give you exactly one compliment because I haven't changed one bit. I don't know why you missed me, to be honest with you. I mean, all the shit that I give you and you wanted more of it.
I need it. It's perfect training. It helps me become stronger as a man.
You can't believe how much that means to me. But basically, you know, the single compliment is that I appreciate the chance to train you. And this makes me better as a Russian chess trainer. You're the best student I could ask for.
Oh,
You take all of my shit and then ask for more. So, you know,
thank you.
I'm not gonna get teary-eyed here. It's time to kick your ass. So, in terms of
Thanks to
the
Tier 1 Squint and
lesson
Tier 1
structure,
Yogesh.
I had sort of an idea about
Fix.
keeping it relatively simple. As usual, I completely defer to you. Totally up to like what you're down to do. My idea, again, to keep things simple, we can start with a couple warm-up games as we usually do.
Okay.
And
thanks for the 10
then
gift subs, Yogesh.
basically
Thank you.
wanted to play maybe 1 or 2 odds games, and then through the lens of that to talk through and review some basic principles that we had been sort of building upon. And then sort of the last thing, I was thinking we could do either some puzzles, or I prepared a couple of positions that may also allow us to review some basic planning techniques, stuff like that. And then we can finish with like a game or two. Totally, you know, we'll play it by ear. How does that sound generally?
All sounds good to me, man. I'm ready.
Perfect. Let me just
Prime,
log in and then follow you, and I'll be ready for you to get your ass kicked.
Sounds good.
Capture your cam here. Just give
Thanks
me
to
1
Tier
second,
1
then,
Jennifer.
to capture your camera. You're still Turbo Fisto, though, right?
Yes, sir.
That has not changed.
No, well, that'll never change.
I just need to disable this one thing in my Chrome settings. Whenever I go into my Chrome settings, I might accidentally go to my history. That will not be good.
Do you have a pretty degenerate history? What are you looking at?
Well, a lot of chess, you know, a lot of chess websites, a lot of Russian chess websites.
That's what it is.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, naturally.
It's just this hard work, because, yeah, you guys in my stream, Charlie's just frozen. Worst comes to worst, I just won't capture your face. That's what we wanted anyway. Okay, why don't you start the game? Oh, there we go. Use hardware acceleration. Done.
What's my rating?
Right.
It was like 1100,
Good?
but I've been doing a lot of 3-minute
Alright,
games
I'm
and
ready.
losing constantly. Alright, I'm in.
Ahead. Turbo Fisto. Can't believe you're actually playing.
I know, this is gonna be nuts.
So you know the ropes. Italian.
Yeah, I immediately made a mistake though, so...
Nope, this is good.
Uh,
This is good. Development. And you basically know the drill in these types of positions.
for the most part, yeah.
This guy's just going to resign because he knows you're making a comeback.
He sees the name and he's already just overrun with fear.
Well, he's already put on a mask in the profile picture. He doesn't want you to, like, affect any part of his face. Okay, so taking on f3, by the way, we already have stuff to affect. That was a mistake. Your queen is in a really good attacking position. Can you slide that queen over so it's in an even better attacking position?
Yes, sir. Pinning right there on G3.
Absolutely. Get it the hell over there. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm going to turn Charlie. I can't believe you want to hear him louder. Okay, so that's actually a good move.
Yeah.
And the question is, where do you want to tuck your queen away? The queen can be tucked away, and the blankets can be put over it, but it can still be really good. So what square am I talking about here?
Well, it's not H2, right? That's not really a good square for it. It's not active, yeah?
Oh, you have a really sexy square, actually. You see that bishop on c4?
Yeah.
It's pinning the pawn on f7, which means the pawn is paralyzed, which gives your queen a really sexy square.
Ah, I see. Just bringing it all the way up to G6.
Yep, exactly. Bingo. And that is a move that you used to struggle with. Now look at the... You've really matured, I have to say. It's like a completely different person I'm speaking to.
Yeah, I know. I've hit the final level. Ooh.
Okay. So he wants to intercept your queen.
Yeah.
And if you take that pawn with anything but which piece, he'll take your queen. So which piece do you have to take the pawn with to preserve the pin?
I have to take it with the bishop.
Perfect. Yeah, you're gonna be making a smoothie out of his kingside. So he can actually take your bishop with his queen. That would be a pretty advanced concept, which he does.
Yeah.
Little fucker. But actually, you have something in store. So now you see that your queen is hanging, right?
Yeah.
Can you save your queen and also avoid losing a piece?
Well, I can just drop the queen back to G4, right?
If you're dropping the queen back, you might as well fucking take some shit while you're at it.
So
what can the queen take?
Just taking the knight.
Taking the knight. Because remember, he took your knight. So if you were to just drop the queen back, you'd be down a piece.
Gotcha.
Now you're up
gotcha.
a pawn. All right, missed me yet? Okay. Now it comes to mind. There is a particular plan in such positions that I know you have a particular fondness for.
Is it putting the knight on the outpost at D5?
Well, that's the plan I have a fondness for. Go ahead and do that. I'm quite impressed, actually.
Ah.
Okay, did I say the word impressed?
I think you accidentally let that one slip.
I accidentally put on deodorant this morning, so I was like, what would a Russian trainer? He would smell like sweat. I don't even know. It's weird how you put deodorant on now, even though you don't see anybody all day.
Yeah, I haven't put deodorant on in a fucking minute, man.
Dude, it's fucking crazy.
All
these remnants of like normal life. Anyways, oh, he has blundered something.
Well, there's a hanging pawn at C7, but I imagine we want some... Oh, I mean, that's a fork on the queen and the rook,
that's
right?
a fork on the queen and the rook. That's a whole fucking package.
Yeah.
Bingo. Good. So you're still pretty sharp in terms of the one-move tactics, stuff like that. Very good. Yeah, he's kind of fucked here. So think about what you'll be doing after you take his... Well, first, perform the necessary duties. Now, remember that when you're up something that involves a rook, having more rooks than your opponent, you want to open up files. So the rooks have to be alive. Otherwise, you're not going to feel their power. So how can you do that?
I was looking at pushing F4 pawn.
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect.
And yeah, there's stuff to talk about here because he can take your pawn. And what are you going to take back with?
I want to take with the bishop, right? Because then I'm attacking his queen.
That's fine. You can actually take with either piece. Taking with a rook, a case could be made for that because you do want to open up files for your rooks. But I like taking with your bishop too.
Okay. Thanks to resubs, eh?
All right. He checks you, no problem. What can you do?
I just want to move the king back to H1, right?
Yep, exactly. And he's going to take your pawn on B2 and think he's the biggest shit. But that's actually helping you open up file. Okay, no, he's not. Never mind. Okay, do you want to trade?
I'm up right now, right? So I do want to make these trades? Okay, cool.
Absolutely. He's probably going to take with a knight, would be my assumption. And then that queen on D4. It's kind of annoying. Can you get it out of there?
Yeah, just pushing pawn at C3.
Yep. And then by pushing pawn on C3, if you notice your central pawns, and can he take on D3, first of all? Well, let's see what he does. No, he doesn't. So now you can continue pushing and getting his pieces out of these key squares.
Yo, I just want to push up the pawn again to D4 to get the knight out.
Absolutely. Okay. Get the knight out, control the center. Thanks, Nip Nip, for the bits. And now you need a simple plan. You need to decide what to do with your rooks. There is a simple thing you do with rooks when you have an open file to put them on. What do?
Stack them.
Stack them. So rook F3, rook F3 is probably the best place to put the first one because it's also sort of guarding some key squares.
Thanks to the resub coffin.
So yeah, so he already curls up into a ball.
It doesn't change anything though, right? I still stack.
Absolutely stack them. Thanks guys for the subs.
Thanks to the prime crackhead.
And then you'll have to use your pawns together with your rooks to just continue massaging his position. Thanks guys for the subs. So I see you've been playing 3-minute games. That's pretty good, actually. You've definitely sped up. I can sense that.
Yeah, I mean, those 3-minute games were a fucking disaster, though. I would not recommend watching that unless you're trying to throw up.
Well, I usually am. So he's attacking your pawn on E4.
Mm-hmm.
How can you protect that without removing your pieces from their active position?
It's just pushing the pawn up, right?
Yep. Yeah, let's see what he does. I mean, look at your pawn chain. That is what I look to get my creative juices flowing. Okay, so obviously he's threatening the queen trade, which you want, because you're up material.
Yeah. So
And now,
there's never a reason to decline this when I'm up this much, right?
well, not really. We'll talk about that after the game.
Okay.
Because you've got 49 seconds.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about it now. So think about what you want to do now. You have a pawn on d4. That pawn is passed.
Mm-hmm.
If you push that pawn, you lose the pawn on e5. He takes it with his knight. Can you preemptively defend that other pawn so you can push the d pawn?
Yeah, I'm just going up to f5, right?
Yep, that's actually a perfect way to do it because you're also attacking his pawn. All right. So, in fact, you can go around and take g5 first. You don't even have to rush by pushing your pawn. He does. And you might lose on time the first couple of games. That makes me happy to see you lose, but that's okay.
Just
We're
take.
working on the... Yeah, take. And careful with your rook on g5. He might drop his knight back to e6. And he might attack your rook, so be prepared to move it. No, he doesn't.
So now I'm just pushing. Just pushing.
Yeah, pushing that key pawn. And now you can push either the e pawn or the d pawn. It doesn't matter. I would even push the e pawn because if he takes that, you trade rooks, which is, again, good for you. Totally depends on what he does. Okay, yeah, it doesn't change anything. If he takes that pawn, his last move, g6, has allowed you to do something pretty cool. So if he plays f takes e6. Okay, he plays f6, same move.
Well, can I just take pawn and delivery check? Okay.
Yep, and then take the other pawn on f6 and do that quickly. And now, if he takes, you take. If he doesn't, okay, takes. Now you can push. We'll push the e pawn. So if he plays king to g7, you can slide your rook over before making a queen to preserve that rook. That'll make it faster to deliver checkmate. Okay. So get your rook away to f7, for example.
f7's better? Okay.
Yeah. And then make a fucking queen right now. You can actually pre-move. You can pre-move.
Yeah. I see. There's nothing he can really do to defend that.
Yeah, now you're just going to ladder checkmate him, depending on where he goes with his knight. Wow, that's a lot of faith in your ability to checkmate, I have to say.
Well, to be fair though, it's two moves, right? I'm only going g8 and then I'm going h7. So
yeah, unless he goes knight f6. So of course you saw that. You were just testing my ability. So let's quickly go over that. Just a couple of points. That'll oil the machine. Then you'll jump back into the pool. So I'll invite you to an analysis board.
Thanks to the reset,
Bismo. Missed that as well.
Obviously, I saw the f6 to
preserve. So basically, okay. So can you see my moves?
Yep.
So h6 is already a slightly sketchy move. We'll talk about that later. Right now, I want to get the plans down, get the basics down. So this is a mistake. What should he have done instead of taking the knight?
Drop bishop back.
Yeah. So preserve the pin, very important, and it makes it a little bit hard for you to basically move your pieces around. So he takes, this move makes sense, right? You're threatening to take on h6.
Yep.
And potentially you're preparing to push your pawn out to f1. This is like the sexiest move of the game, queen g6. And that's also why playing h6 really early can be a mistake and then castling. Because obviously that weakens these kingside squares.
Thanks to
so d5 you took. And here, in your mind you have to be like, okay, he's taken a piece. So if I don't take a piece back, I'm going to be a piece down, which is why if you're moving the queen, you better take the knight.
Okay, makes sense.
So here, now you go knight d5 outpost, take everything, open the files. Everything is very logical. The one thing I want you to tell me, what would you have done if he had taken on b2?
Wouldn't I just chase the queen away at b1?
Bingo. So rook a b1. What if he takes another pawn?
Well, then I can go take his pawn on b7.
Exactly, and you're threatening what move?
Then I'm coming at f7.
Nicely done. And the last thing, if he goes rook f8, can you chase that rook away from f8 and get to f7?
Yeah, I just bring bishop to d6.
Nice. And extra credit question, because you're answering these quickly. If queen takes d3, what is the purpose of this move? How do you defend against it?
He's attacking the bishop, and he's attacking the rook.
No, that's not what he's doing.
Do I just take rook, let him take rook, get out of check, and then go for f7?
So that would not be a bad idea. If he takes your bishop here, then okay, you have the best idea ever. The problem is he won't take your bishop.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that your king is now kind of weak.
Yeah.
So he can give you a check on e5. And it's almost checkmate. You have to go g3. He starts checking you. It's anybody's game.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So your default when you're forked is the first question you ask yourself, can I move over one piece and defend the other piece? That should be the way you frame this question to yourself.
Oh, I see. So bringing rook to d1.
Bingo.
Okay.
Bringing rook to d1. Attack the queen. He has to, let's say, take the pawn. Now you take the rook. You're up 2 rooks.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, you shouldn't panic immediately unless there's a knight forking you. That's why it's so good to give a knight fork, because by definition, like, knights are the only piece that move like that. So you can't defend. Okay, so here you took c3, d4. This all makes perfect sense. Double the rooks. And the last thing, yeah, so does this plan make sense? You're pushing your passed pawn?
Yeah.
And the move g6 is a mistake because it creates this weakness. You're undermining the f7 pawn. If he takes on e6, what do?
Taking rook.
There is something even better.
Deliver the check first at g6 on pawn. Okay.
Bingo. Then take the rook, take the pawn, promote.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Clean game. Clean game. Oh. I should reserve the cussing for when you make one of your...
Thanks, 3-7 nutsack. Okay, yeah, you gotta keep those in your back pocket, I get you.
Right, exactly. Otherwise they lose their meaning. All right, ready for the next one.
Okay, are we doing another one just in pool?
Let's do one more pool one, and then let's do an odds game.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Jack Prest. I feel like I've heard of this guy. I don't know where.
Jack Frost?
No, Ryast, your opponent.
Oh, they said Jack Frost.
So he's playing the fried liver.
Yeah. So what was the defense against this? Isn't it just normal development, pretty much?
So it's actually d5, because he's threatening to take your pawn, right, with his knight and deliver a fork. So you got to intercept the bishop.
Okay.
And the bottom line is, if he takes with his pawn, you're not supposed to recapture that pawn with your knight. And I'll show you after the game. I'll remind you of the key ideas. Thanks, Possible and Veronica's. So you have to move the knight from c6. And you have to chase away the bishop on c4. Where can the bishop? Where can the knight do that from?
a5.
Yep. Yeah, I'll show him the Traxler. There is a cool line where you give up f7, but that.
The Traxler is what it's called. That's a really fucking cool name.
These chess players take themselves very seriously. I wonder, like, how many times he thought about that at night. Oh, I have a line named after me. Oh my god, Queen f3. Okay. What is this? This is what we call a bad move.
Yeah, I don't really
How do you punish said bad move?
Do I just push up pawn to attack the queen as well?
Well, why did you play knight a5?
Well, to attack the bishop, but I mean, okay. So
Has he moved it?
No, so I just take, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought there was something bigger I can do with the queen being out like that.
Well, I mean, I'd say taking a bishop is...
It's cool. No, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so e4, like, okay, we'll talk about that. So now he attacks your knight. You can just move it.
Yeah, do I want to put it back on its original d6?
Sure, that's a good square as any in the center. Then you want to make sure, well, first of all, that knight on g5, it's kind of annoying. So I would deal with that knight first, and then I would complete my development on the king side.
Okay, so h6.
Exactly.
Okay. Thanks to the resub Andrew and the prime Cyan.
All right, h6. Yeah, now he's a piece down. And so you can take his knight with either knight, actually. You actually don't have to, and that's a point that I'm going to hammer down. You can just continue developing as normal. Let him be the one to take your knights.
Okay.
That sound.
So do I want to develop my C bishop, my light square bishop first to like G4, or is that just not really worth?
No.
Okay.
No, because there's a specific reason for that. I'll torture you over that after the game, but develop your king side first.
Okay, so I'm going just E7 then with bishop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the sort of general reason is you want to take care of your king's safety first, normally, but there is a tactical reason why you don't want
Thanks
to
to
attack his
resub
queen.
Mecha.
Also, I know, I appreciate the raid. You were going to buy me out with the raid, think I wasn't going to be quite as cruel to you. Boy, how wrong you are.
Amen, brother. That's what I'm looking for. Thanks to the tier 1 conserve.
Yeah, so now he's going to be the one deciding, do I take his knight? Which knight do I take? And when you force your opponent to make decisions, you save time, and they're more likely to make the wrong decisions.
Okay. So now I'm just going to castle.
Yeah, exactly. That was a very profound statement. You were supposed to appreciate that.
Yeah, no. It just, it probably sounded a lot cooler when you were monologuing it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll deliver one of those to a student, and then I'll listen to myself, and I'll be like what the hell did I just say? What am I actually saying?
Thanks for the resub, Jazz.
All right, so you can see how much time he's spending. He's agonizing over which knight to take, but it's actually not that important for him, from his perspective, which knight he takes. Okay, he doesn't take either. So now I'll give you a hint. Actually, you do want to take his knight with one of your knights. And you want to do that because you have a opportunity to execute a plan that you executed in the last game. It involves opening up the king side in a particular way.
Yeah, so it's taking with the f6 knight, right? And that's going to free up the...
Bingo.
Dark tile bishop. Okay.
And also it's going to free up what other...
The queen.
Well, but there's another thing you can do. Think pawns. Which pawn does it free up? Where can that pawn go?
Are you talking about the f7 pawn?
I am. If you notice, his queen is x-rayed by your rook.
Yep. So I'm just pushing to f5. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. That's a very common plan in a lot of different positions, particularly when you're up a piece. The bottom line is you want to open up the position, which I will never stop reminding you of, in order for your extra piece to sort of make its presence felt. So now what?
Now I'm just going to freeze up the file.
Absolutely. And when he takes with the knight, notice that his queen and his knight are on the same diagonal. That should be
a bishop on f5.
Yeah. Exactly. He's got to play f3. That weakens his king side. And when he does play f3, which I think he will, yep. Now you got to think about a way to apply pressure on that knight on e4. You have a maneuver that brings a piece into the king side, and it applies pressure on the knight. Look at all of your pieces. Which ones could apply pressure on the knight? There's literally only one piece that can do that diagonally.
I'm a little confused. So on the king side, I'm bringing in a new piece to the attack on the knight?
You're bringing the queen in. I'll give you that in. Where can the queen go? Maneuver the queen to the king side.
Oh. So do you want her to go to, what, e8 first and then slide over?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
e8 and g6. And the queen serves two purposes. That's what I mean. When I say apply pressure, that's a general term for be another attacker too.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and basically... Yeah, okay, that actually doesn't even stop you from going queen g6. Why does that not blunder the bishop?
Because I just take it right back with queen.
No, because you take his king. If you play queen.
Oh, right, because it's pinned now. Jesus, oh boy.
Were you really saying that you would just take back a pawn that captured your bishop? Like it's no big deal?
Yeah.
Well, I might cut some nuts off. So now, his knight, you have 3 attackers on his knight. And he has only 2 defenders, the pawn and the queen. What do you want to take his knight with?
Do I take with the knight first?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to keep your bishop. The bishop is a huge attacker. Then you take with your bishop. And then that F file is going to be the headquarters of your attack, basically.
Okay. So then now I'm taking bishop.
Yep. Exactly. Then you want to gain control of the F file, depending on what he does. Yeah, his position has seen better days. Okay. So now when I say gain control, oh, actually you have a really cool move. Oh, actually, yeah, you do. So you see his king on g1.
Yeah.
You want to use the other side of the board to get to his king. I'll give you a hint. It's a queen move, and it's a check.
Yeah, it's going to b6.
Yeah, exactly. Then his king has to go to h2. But that opens up the f2 square, which is a huge... It's actually checkmate in 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or so. But it's probably going to be checkmate in 3, the way the game is going to go. Yeah, so you see what I'm saying. If he goes king h2, what move are you going to play?
I'm just bringing the bishop to d6.
There's a much better move. There's a check. And what you should be looking for is that second rank. So it is a rook move.
Oh, Jesus, here. I just bring rook to f2 then.
Yep, exactly. And if he takes it, it's checkmate. He's probably going to go king to g3, would be my guess. But if he goes king to g1, okay, yeah. Now there's checkmate in one move.
What? Well,
Checkmate in
it's
one.
not e3. I get taken by bishop.
No, it's a rook move.
Oh, it's just bringing the rook back to f3.
No.
No?
Rook g2. Rook g2.
G2. Oh, I see.
If rook f3, he takes that rook. Although that's mate in 2, actually.
Oh, I didn't even notice the bishop covering h4. Okay.
Yeah, that's just a coincidence. I didn't personally know that would be the result. But that's a pretty cool attack. And I always like using the other side of the board. That move queen b6. A lot of people would miss that because they tunnel vision the king side, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So there's a couple of points I wanted to make before we go
Thanks
to
to Prime, Demogs, and Wagwan.
Finally get a chance to kick your ass and make you feel terrible.
Or maybe I surprise you and beat you in the odds game.
Keep telling yourself that. If you don't mind, let me just grab my coffee that I've...
By all means, man.
Delicious smell. I'm going to keep you and your 11,000 viewers waiting. That's the kind of asshole I am.
Don't worry about it, man.
I have to pull a mug out of the dishwasher and wash it.
Thanks to the resub, Joda, Crypt, and the Prime Har. The Traxler. Yeah, I'll look for the fucking Traxler, whatever that means. Thanks to the bit Slindy. Well, while Daniel goes and gets a coffee, I'm gonna take a piss real quick and fill up this water, so just give me 1 second. And thanks to the Prime Bloodka. Let Daniel know. I'll be back in a sec.
Sorry, I had to survey the 5 coffee cups in my dishwasher, decide which one was least difficult to wash. All right. Ready? Oh, he's gone to pee. Okay. I'm talking to a wall. Well, I'm talking to Charlie's viewers. That's the next best thing. We all know Charlie's viewers are cooler than the man himself, right? Am I right? All right. In the meantime, thank you guys for all the subs. Thank you for joining. I know it's a time when some people are working. We have over 2,000 people. Really appreciate you guys coming back. Treble Kegs priming. Charlie's viewers, big shout out to you guys as well. Always a pleasure working with the man himself, even though I will never tell him that. Well, I did tell him that. But yeah, I just got to share with Charlie this life experience of finding something to pour the coffee in. Hope you guys are having a good time. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about, but I want to keep things very simple today. I want to keep things basic, because when you're coming back into chess, you don't want crazy opening theory, anything like that. Also, my apologies, guys. I have a bit of a sore throat this morning. I don't think I'm sick. I just think it's because the air conditioner was on or something, but my throat is a little bit parched, so my apologies if my voice sounds a little weird. Yeah. No, my throat doesn't hurt. It's just sore in the sense of like slightly.
Thanks a bit, William.
parched, if that makes sense. All right. Silky smooth. No, I sound fine. I mean, I have a good voice and stuff, you know. No, he's back.
Just sending a quick text message.
No worries. Take your time. Menzie Punk, thanks for the prime.
Thanks for the prime, AZ. Alright, I'm ready.
Alright.
Thanks for the prime, Cheap.
So, let me invite you. Alright.
Do the bong cloud opening? I don't know that one. That sounds remarkable, though.
Are you seeing it?
Did you send me an invite?
Try again.
Thanks for the resub, Metal Gear.
Yep.
There it is.
Perfect. Okay. So, in general, in order to avoid the fried liver, you can also develop the bishop first. And then the g5 square is covered by your queen.
Okay.
And he can't play knight g5. So knight f6, knight g5. The Traxler is this weird... Oops, sorry. That's not the... That's the shit line. That's actually the worst move in the position because you lose the queen. Wow. Because the queen is trapped. So I mouse slipped the worst move in the position. So bishop c5 is the Traxler. I don't know who Traxler was. He wasn't a famous player. But the bottom line idea is if white takes on f7 with a knight, why does it seem like white is winning? Like if you just look at this...
you can't take the knight back and you have to move queen, so he gets a rook.
He gets a free rook. Like, what the hell is black doing? But bishop takes f2 check is the idea, which is just a crazy-looking move. Like, where is this coming from? But I actually want you to tell me the follow-up move after king takes up. What is black going to do here?
Is he going to deliver another check on e4?
Bingo. And what does that move do? Let's say white just drops his king back. What's the big shit here? And the reason I'm asking you these questions, I'm really quickly looking up who was the first person to play the Traxler. Was it actually Traxler? I'm really interested in this stuff. But also tell me the move.
Oh, is it because you can... is it because you bring queen to f6 and threaten checkmate?
Kind of. I think that's actually... I don't actually know. There's people in the chat who know this better than I do. I think that's the move. It might also be queen e7. Oh, queen h4. Okay. Queen h4 is the move. Same idea. Queen out to f2. Yeah, that's the move. And there have been articles written about this. People have toiled over this for years to determine whether black is soundly attacking in the Traxler. And then some people came along and they were like, look, fuckers, like bishop takes f7 avoids this entire thing. You don't have to bother about this. All you do is you take the pawn and you withdraw the bishop. You're up a pawn, and black has no attacking opportunities. Can you tell me why this no longer works?
Well, because knight guards on e4. So when the king takes, you can't take a e4 pawn and deliver another check because their knight takes. Oh, I wasn't doing push to talk. I'm sorry. It's because e4 is covered by knight.
E4 is covered, exactly. And I'm just trying to... I'll be doing that throughout, just trying to get you to make these small observations. Yeah, that's exactly right. Anyways, so does that make sense?
Yeah.
I downloaded a new version of ChessBase, so it's still doing the search. I will
I know
your entire chat is on the edge of their seats wondering whether Traxler was actually the first person to play the Traxler. Anyways, so d5 is the move, and now knight a5. And the reason that, to him, so why is knight takes d5 actually bad? Do you remember the reason?
Yeah, I think it's you take on f7 with knight... King takes, you bring queen out to deliver check on f3. Yeah.
Exactly, and then this is a small problem called the king out on e6 in the opening.
Right.
And it's not that simple. White is better here. And I remember the first time I got a chance to play it. It was against... I don't know why I remember this, but in 2002 or 3, when I first started playing chess, I was obsessed with ratings. So my first rating was 803. Yeah, believe it or not, I did not come out of my mother's womb a GM. I know that is shocking. Mind-boggling realization.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, I think the second or third tournament I played, it was like the K through 3 California Championship, and Voyboy also I think played there. And I played this guy named Alex Cloud. And Alex Cloud was rated 1100, and I was so scared of him. I was like telling my dad, I don't want to play.
Oh.
I'm going to lose to him. And then he went into this line, and all of my fears immediately dissipated. I beat him with this line. Amazing story.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
The applause. Are you tearing up yet?
Yeah, that's one of those tearjerker moments right there. Did you checkmate him, or did he resign from that position?
I think I checkmated him. Usually, kids at that level, they tend to play until checkmate. And by the way, I was going to ask, you've heard of the Queen's Gambit, right?
Yeah, of course.
Have you managed to watch it?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
Nice. I'm actually very happy to hear that. But another thing is the one very nitpicky asshole grandmaster criticism is people don't usually resign by putting their king down. People usually just resign by stopping the clock and extending your hand. Just so everybody knows. Like
my grandpa always taught me the king thing.
What was that?
My grandpa taught me the king thing, so I thought that was common practice.
Yeah, well, it used to be like in the 1600s when you were growing up. But
right.
Anyway. Okay, so back to the game. Knight a5, queen f3, he blunders the bishop, right? And this is a blockade, right? You're blockading the pawn on d5. And h6 chasing it away, bishop e7. So again, when your opponent offers you a trade, when you are trading a piece, there should always be a good reason you can point to for why you're trading. And here, yes, you're up a piece, but you asked me a question earlier, do you always want to trade when you're up? If you have a queen trade, then usually that'll be a good idea, unless you're attacking. If you're attacking and you're up a piece and your opponent offers a queen trade, there's no reason necessarily to go out of your way and trade queens.
Okay.
Right? But if your opponent offers a minor piece trade, knights or bishops,
yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
You don't have to freaking go to the edge of the world just to trade a knight. You can let him be the one. Here you trade because you open the f pawn. So d takes c4, f5, opening up the file. And this was the critical moment, right? Queen e8, queen g6. Does this make sense now?
Yeah.
So queen e8, queen g6, applying pressure on the knight. By the way, if he plays knight takes d6, what piece do you take?
Do I take back with the bishop?
So you mean you take the knight?
Yeah.
If you were to take the knight, you would take with the bishop, correct. And then what move would you play to open up this bishop?
I just push the pawn.
Beautiful, e4. However, you have another possibility here. This simplifies the position and wins even more material. Try to calculate this out. And in the meantime, I have some news for you. Holy shit. Traxler, and his first name was Carol Traxler, was the first person to play the Traxler, and he played it in 1890, and then he played it again in 1896, and then the next person to play it was in 1931. So he literally had this all to himself for 50 years.
Wow, big man!
And he won both of the games that he played it in. Damn, this guy was pretty cool, I have to say.
His first name was Karel?
Karel, Czechoslovakia. Born in 1866, died 1936, aged 84. He lived happily ever after playing the Traxler. Man, can you understand, Charlie? This guy was our age. He was 24 when he first developed this line that we're talking about today. I mean, these guys were giga chads, I guess we say now.
Soda.
Is that how we talk now?
you need to have a line named after you, Daniel.
You know, it's funny because there's a couple of lines that I play more often than other GMs that I think are considered to be a little suspicious. Maybe one day I'll have the honor of having that.
I'll try and brainstorm some goofy shit for you to refine. It could be a team effort.
Oh, I love that. But back to this position. Sorry to distract you with that meaningless information. What move am I talking about here? The knight is not the only piece you can take.
Yeah, so I'm just taking the queen and trading, right?
But let's calculate. Bishop takes queen. Knight takes queen. What do you do there?
Then I'm taking rook with the bishop.
Exactly, and if he takes the bishop?
Then I'm just taking his knight.
Exactly, and what, for extra credit, bishop takes queen, knight takes queen. Bishop takes rook. That knight on e8 takes c7, attacking your rook. How do you save both your rook and your bishop at the same time?
I just bring the rook over to e8. Oh no, he still takes that. He takes that.
Yeah. You're correct to bring the rook over somewhere, but your default question should be, can I attack the knight with a rook?
Yeah, okay. Do I just bring it over to c8 then?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if we play the line on the board, what I was talking about, knight attacks rook, king attacks bishop. As I told you, first question, can I move one piece and either defend the other piece? Well, obviously, bishop cannot defend rook, rook cannot defend bishop. So the next best thing, to attack one of the attackers.
Yeah.
Okay, c8.
Okay,
there's more to this, but just wanted to get you to calculate a little bit. And basically, at the end, you take with the bishop, and this is the key move, queen b6. This makes sense now, right?
Yeah.
Last thing, if he takes, then of course you take with the queen, and it's checkmate. If he plays king back to g1, there's a lot going on here. Can you actually checkmate me from this position? Let this be our segue into the odds games.
Moving rook to g2 does not checkmate.
Yeah, you have to make a key observation about white's king and where it's sort of placed. Like, I can draw a particular arrow, and that might help you out.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't be checkmate, right? Like, if I move that rook... Oh, Wait, no.
Not mate in one, by the way. Like, I'm not expecting you to deliver mate on the next move.
Okay, cool, yeah, because that just can't happen, right? But I move rook,
I would expect Traxler to do that, but hey, you're not at that level of coolness, so...
We'll get
you'll need
there.
a couple extra moves.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So do I start by just going g2 with the rook?
So the funny thing is, if you go to g2, that's a double check.
Right.
Which is good. The bad thing, and that's a fine move, but it delays the mating process, because that king slides over to h1. If you move the rook anywhere but that square, this bishop is going to protect that square.
I'm just moving it back to like f4, or not f4, but like all the way back to like f6, then just get it out of the way.
But then he gets h2. So you have to move the rook so that the rook still controls the h2 square.
I don't see where to put it.
Which means you have to keep it on the second rank.
But it's guarded everywhere. E2 guarded
like
by...
this.
Oh, because I'm delivering the check right now.
Discover
right,
check.
right.
Remember the key concept. Discover check is the most powerful tactical tool in chess.
Okay.
And by the way, even if it wasn't mate, you'd be winning his queen.
Right.
But as it stands, it's just mate, because he can throw a bunch of pieces at you. You take them all. So remember discover checks.
Got it. Okay.
And this makes sense now, right? The bishop on e7.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So are you fine with an odds game or two? I feel like that's a good way to sort of recap some basic principles and also get you to feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ultimately, my goal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thanks to Prime Bruce.
let's do a 15-minute game to start. Down a queen.
In the Prime Coyote.
Unless you want to do 10 minutes, but I think 15 minutes is good just for now, because
yeah,
it gives me a chance to run off at the mouth. We'll do 15 plus 2. Okay, unrated. Definitely unrated. All right. Challenge 2.
If you did do rated and I won, would you go back down to like 1,000 elo?
Well, the thing is, I usually play blitz, and 15 minutes is considered rapid, I think, and I don't really play much formal rapid, so. But the hit on my ego would be, insurmountable.
Yeah, you would never recover.
No, and Traxler wouldn't be my hero. Wouldn't be happy with me. I think I challenged you, but.
Where did challenges go again? I don't remember. There it is.
Let me go over to your stream.
I got it.
Oh yeah, perfect. So first go move your knight out to f3, and now play like pawn to e4. Oh my god! Oh shit!
Oh Lord! Daniel's lost
Damn
it.
I've my marbles, whatever has remained in my brain, is now mush. Unbelievable. Okay, so I'm not going to help you directly find moves. I want you to talk through your logic, and I'll help you in that way.
Okay, sounds good. I feel like I gotta get wacky to beat you here.
That could mean a lot of different things.
Yeah, I'm talking real fucking wacky, Daniel.
Okay, I like the way that sounds.
Yeah.
Queen out to e2, okay. So let's go. I'm gonna develop. So I want to remind you, as you're thinking, of the main goal that you're gonna have at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You want to develop normally, but at some point you want to open up the center.
Yeah. Because
without opening up the center, your extra queen is just going to be she's going to be sitting there, which is what you basically want anyway, for it to be sitting there. Okay. Anyways, I won't distract.
Friends.
Okay.
Thank you for the raid.
Door
Thank you, Levy.
of Fate shall open.
Ooh, countering the old wacky strats. I like it.
Friends.
You think I haven't dealt with wacky? I've dealt with an opponent who has brought a real sword to the game.
What the fuck does that mean? You fought against like a samurai chess player?
I think I might have told the story, but I played this, and by the way, I can add time. I'm supposed to be able to add time to your clock, but we're not friends on chess.com. I added you as a friend. Can you accept that?
Yeah, it's about fucking time.
I mean, yeah.
Really appreciate the raid, man. Thank you.
It's funny because there are some people, some students who are like, hey, Daniel, I added you as a friend on chess.com like months ago, and you never accepted. And I feel so bad about it because it's just like I get a million requests and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's not easy being the world's most handsome grandmaster.
Oh, yeah. Now you're making me blush, and that's not the direction I wanted this to go. Okay, so your what is this? I almost gave it away. What is what you just did called?
Fianchetto.
Yes. All right, so let me try to complicate the position a little bit and see how you react to immediate threats. I'm going to take your knight.
Oh, I don't like that, Daniel.
Well, I like that you don't like it. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go here.
Well.
That move scares the living shit out of you, doesn't it?
I don't like that move, because now you're throwing off my big wacky strats.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't give up this bishop, which means I have to push queen e4, I think is the only viable option.
Nice, that's the best move. Defend it, again, using one piece to defend the other piece. And by the way, let's calculate a little bit in your head. If I take your bishop, what do you do?
I'm just taking back with the queen.
And then if I take your e5 pawn with my knight, find the best move.
I'm taking your g7 pawn.
And then find the best move for black. You are forking the knight and the rook.
Mm-hmm.
Can one piece move away and defend the other? I'm not going to do any of this, but just calculation practice.
Yeah. If you were a fool.
If I was a fool, exactly.
So queen's on g7. I'm attacking rook and knight. Oh, you just you just bring knight to g6.
And then what is white's best move? Can white, and this is like those movie scenes where someone has their hands on the ledge and you're prying their fingers away.
Mm-hmm.
The knight is defending the rook. You see that construction. Can you attack that knight with one of your...
Yep, I'm just bringing the pawn up.
Bingo, h5. That's good calculation. So for that reason, I'm just going to drop my knight back. For that simple reason.
It seems like I put the fear of God in you there. Oh, now you have
Keep
two pieces attacking my pawn. Ugh, God.
Keep telling yourself that.
Good lord.
Yeah, that's pretty good visualization.
Well, I don't want to give up this pawn because I feel like it's a pretty strong pawn here at e5, so I think I have to push f4, bring another defender in. f4 is protected by queen as well.
That's not bad, but
then
remember you want to use kill two birds. You want to do many things at once. You haven't controlled the center yet.
Right.
And f4, by the way, will give up h4.
Yeah, I was just about to say that just blocked my coverage.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think in this position, I'm just bringing the other pawn then at d4.
Yeah. Yeah, people need to hear the sword story. So this was 2006. I was playing a tournament in LA, and I went with my coach because my coach at that time was from Los Angeles. And my coach was Armenian, so he was like a Russian coach and even frickin' more strict. And I'm playing this guy, and I shit you not, and this is, anybody can corroborate this. He comes to the game in, what is it called? Chain link armor? Like, literally.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And he is literally carrying a sword, a fully sheathed sword.
Hey, Sharon.
And I freak out. And this guy was kind of known in the chess community. He had some issues. But I freaked out, and I tell my coach, like, Armin, I'm playing a guy, and he brought a sword to the game. I'm afraid of, like, winning. And he laughs his ass off, and he's like, that's a fake sword. He's just he's just fucking with you. But later, it was discovered that this was an actual real sword. And there were a lot of things he did during the game that was just weird as hell. At one point, he got up for like 45 minutes on his turn, and he came back with some like half-eaten hamburger that looked disgusting. And he ultimately won the game in 7 hours. It was one of the longest games I've ever played.
Christ.
Yeah. Nice, en passant. Damn, girl.
Yes, sir. See, I still got the moves out here. I still got the sauce.
What?
But my development, it's looking like some straight ass
Yes.
cheeks right now.
It is, exactly. Get your damn pieces out.
So, castling on this well, what was a Fianchetto isn't a good idea, right? Like, now I want to castle long.
Well, yeah, so ideally you would want to castle long. Remember, I also don't have a queen, so if I had a queen, you are correct. The logic is good. The fact of the matter is I don't have the resources necessary to attack you, even if you were to castle short. But here's what I would recommend. There's two ways of developing. You can literally develop. You can also push my pieces away from their good positions.
Right.
And there is one move you can make to push away one of my pieces from its good position. You have found this move earlier in a different context.
It's a developmental move?
It's not really. It's a pawn move.
Oh, yeah, it's just h5, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. This is what my friend calls moving your opponent's pieces.
Oh.
So you're like undeveloping my pieces.
No, this gives me an active square to develop too now, right? Going to g5 with this bishop.
That's a good move. Yep. Okay, I'm going to. Well, okay, I'm gonna go f6j. I don't want to trade anything, but that's a weakening move. So you have actually achieved something. That makes you feel really good. I'm gonna go here. Control the center. I'm gonna play. I've consulted the Ghost of Traxler, and he's told me to play this.
Ooh, I don't like that spirit.
Now you need to do some damage control.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what I am threatening. I have a very big threat.
It's C2.
No, am I threatening to capture it?
Oh no, because it's guarded by queen. Okay, never mind.
So what am I threatening to do? Cut those nuts. But your queen is guarding the square.
Yeah,
remember that the queen is the worst defender because the queen is a very easy piece to attack. What am I threatening to attack it with?
Are you gonna move the pawn at it at f5?
Yeah, pawn or bishop. Even bishop on bishop f5 is better.
Oh, because then that gets me off of d3 as well. Okay, I see.
So the way you should think about it is you're probably thinking, how do I get my queen away? You don't have to do that. What you have to do is defend the c2 pawn so that you will be able to move the queen when it's attacked. How can you defend c2 while developing a piece? It's not the greatest looking move, but...
Yeah, it's bringing the knight to the rim at a3.
Bingo.
Okay.
That's a very powerful move, actually. But the logic makes sense, right?
Yeah, I get you. Okay.
Okay. I want to do this anyway. Now the queen has only one square.
Yeah, and that's dropping it to e3, correct?
Yes. Okay. And by the way, otherwise, I would have taken on c2 and forked your king and queen.
Yeah.
And I think someone just offered ironclad logic. I didn't realize this. Wait, aren't they playing against each other? Why is Danya helping him? Surely he's lowering his chance of winning. Man, I think I need to stop helping you. To
be fair, you haven't been giving me like answers to questions I haven't asked.
Exactly. And I'm just teasing you, don't worry. GG, you are a valued member of the community. Okay, I'm gonna take on
Prime Tactical. Yeah, I can't take that back because then I get forked. So
you haven't been giving me answers to questions I asked. That's like unexpectedly profound. I feel like that definitely is what people do when they want you to like do stuff correctly.
Yeah. I think this is a good move. I think
it is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, getting the rook to the open file, and you don't really care about pawns here
right.
because you're up with so much material. What you care about is getting your pieces to good squares, completing your development, and then starting the attack at some point. So speaking of completing your development,
yeah, I should
one
castle.
thing you haven't done.
Yeah.
And you can't castle long anymore. That's okay, but it's better to at least castle somewhere.
Yeah, get the king out of the middle.
Exactly, and so will I.
Oh baby,
He just lost.
So I keep looking at this move, but I don't know if it's good. If I
think you're looking at the correct move. Which one is it?
C7 with rook.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm actually pumped you found this move. To the 7th rank, forking the knight on the pawn. My knight on e7 is kind of constricted by all of my other pieces. I'm going to make a GM level move right now.
Okay.
I'm going to pull something on you that's kind of sexy, if I may say so myself.
Until I counter it.
Knight, fuck. So stupid.
Oh no, what is it? He's just giving up his knight for free. What? This guy's gone wacko mode.
Bro, like, dude. Like, man, like, rook takes e7. Right on, bro.
Oh no.
Yeah, you see the idea. But actually, I'm also defending the pawn on b7.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to do?
You understand the main ideas of this.
I think so for the most part. It's kind of taken.
You were forking. What do I want to do if you take my knight?
You're gonna trap my rook.
How?
You're going to bring. Isn't it just move? No, you can. Well, if you move rook e8, that doesn't work.
Yeah, then you just take the rook.
Yeah.
So think about when you're struggling with a move. What squares have been left behind as a consequence of my last move? So bishop has moved away from what square?
F5.
Which means what can move onto that square?
The knight.
Literally.
The knight.
Yes. And what would that accomplish?
It would then be forking my queen and my bishop.
And your rook. If your rook were to move to e7.
Yeah.
That's the idea. It's like that Bobby Fischer story, I can tell after the game.
Okay. I thought you were trapping the rook, but I just see I could take the rook on e8.
Right. Yeah, if a rook attacks the rook, you can just take the rook.
Okay.
Amazing formulation.
So in this position, well, let's see. If I play h4, or not h4, h3 with this bishop here, is that a decent move, looking to trade the bishops and get rid of this attack?
That's a great move, actually. And trading in general is a good move. Actually, it wasn't a great move, but I actually blundered the response to it. I swear, I did not mean to sabotage it. I won't play the move but I want you now to tell me why this is actually a bad move. I actually forgot that this leaves something undefended.
Well, now the G file on my king is open, but I don't see how you...
Will I ever get a rook to the G file?
It doesn't.
And actually, you are the only one who can get a rook to the G file.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like you can attack that. Oh, it leaves my pawn undefended, so you still get it out, and you're attacking queen.
And fork.
Yeah, and you get my rook.
Yeah, exactly. So, in general, this is an advanced concept, but when there is a pawn that's not defended by any other pawns, that's something you should sort of mark in your mind as something you need to watch out for.
Right.
Like, the position is like a map, and you need to understand like where the big cities are, where are the pressure points on the map. Otherwise, you get freaking mental overload. And your brain auto filters the stuff it thinks is important.
Yeah. But
chess doesn't follow the same rules as life. So you need to retrain your brain to look at the important things. That's my speed.
So would a better move? Well, obviously this was a bad one, but would a better move have been pushing this f4 pawn and opening up the center?
Yes. Oh, f4 would have been really, really sexy.
Okay.
That would have actually been, I believe, the best move. I'm actually going to take your bishop, and then I'm going to take on d5.
Okay, that's very sweet of you. So let me just take this bishop back.
Oh, I know. I'm always there for you,
Yeah.
Honestly.
Let's just let's just get something out of this here.
Bingo, that's good. We go knight f4. Nice. All right, so You're attacking mate. You're threatening mate.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to scare you with this move, which
Ooh.
of course you saw.
Yeah, that is a very scary move.
You saw that move, yes, of course. Because
I only have one move. Yeah, it's just going back
Yes,
to
exactly.
H1. Lose bishop, but I still get mate, right?
Yep.
If you take.
Yeah, exactly. G7 is saying. So I have to do this to defend against the mate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like the check at E6 is kind of strong because then it forces you to H8, right? You can't block with
But that's a good thing for me. Then the king withdraws further into its inner circle.
I get you. Okay, so that helps.
So a good way to think about this position is in terms of undefended pieces. Name Black's 2 main undefended pieces?
Well, you have the F3 knight, which is undefended by anything, and also H5.
Bingo. Can you slide a piece over and attack both at the same time?
G4.
Bingo. Now, that's not necessarily winning a piece, because I can do what? What can I do here? Like, what would you do if you were Black, I suppose?
That saves both knights. The only...
Well, it doesn't necessarily save both knights. It doesn't lose a piece.
Oh, you...
Yeah, I want you to find this move, because this is important. And it comes from understanding how to think about the position when 2 pieces are under attack. So there's a step of logic you go through. Number 1, can you move one piece, defend the other piece? The answer is no. Knights are diagonally placed. They cannot, by definition, defend each other.
Right?
Next question. Can I move one of the pieces and attack one of my opponent's pieces?
Or
take my opponent's pieces.
I think... No, that doesn't work. I was going to say you just push pawn, but that's not going to do it.
That only defends one knight. Yeah. Can you attack an opponent's piece or take an opponent's piece? So can one of the knights take anything that belongs to you?
The bishop.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all I meant.
Oh,
right?
okay.
But the trade is good for you because you're now removing defenders from my king, and you're getting closer to delivering checkmate.
Does it matter which knight I take here, or is it about equal?
No, actually, it really doesn't. It's semantic difference.
Okay, well, I'm just going to take this bad boy then.
Absolutely. Yourself out. Let me go here. Now you need to activate the pieces that are not doing anything. That's exactly. Yeah. What other piece isn't doing anything?
The knight.
Yeah, you might not need it. I'm actually going to make a move that sets you up for a combination that wins the game, but I'm not going to tell you what this combination is.
Okay.
This forcibly ends in checkmate in a couple of moves. It's a winning, crushing idea. Let's see if you can find it. Take your time.
If I take the knight, he takes with pawn, I take with queen, I'm still threatening mate, and he can't move the pawn, and he can't defend. Right? Let me see, am I doing that right? Take. This can't move. This can't really do much. He can't bring this up. Is that it? I think that's it. I'm just taking knight at G6, right? With rook, you take, I take.
That's amazing, because I just muted myself to tell my chat what the correct move is, and just as I was saying that, you actually said the move. That's actually
perfect.
Crazy.
Okay, cool.
And I'm going to give you the scariest check in history.
That is fucking wild. Yeah.
Freaking brought the house down.
Yeah. And then I'm just taking rook first and then going in, right? There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yep.
Cool.
I can do this. And some people think GMs can pull pieces out of their behinds, but unfortunately I cannot.
Does it matter what I do at this point? Like, if I take with the rook, it doesn't matter. If I take with the queen, it's still all the same.
It doesn't. Checkmate in 2 moves. Now, most people would be drawn to taking with the queen because that's check, but I literally have no pieces left.
Yeah.
So you can pre-move the check. I want you to pre-move the checkmating move. Like, when I make a move, I want it to be pre-moved.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Great.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Nice. So that was really interesting, actually. I'm curious what you were going for in the opening, and I won't bore you too much of the game. So let me invite you.
Yeah. I had a
You were
real...
talking big shit about wacko. I wasn't sure exactly what it is that you were
Thanks,
actually
Whack.
going for.
And Charlie for the 10.
Okay. So after my brilliancy on move 2. Okay, so explain yourself.
Okay, so at this point, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just get some kind of cheeky little, like, preemptive attack on the king and open up the middle of the board. So what I wanted to do at some point was play this move and get this to happen, so I'd have queen in position.
Sorry, let me look, because it's not showing the arrows. So you're saying... Oh, knight f5, e takes f5, e takes f5. Oh, you wanted to open the e file.
Yeah, I wanted to get this open ASAP and start putting pressure, maybe disrupting. Since I was already up a queen, I felt like I could make this kind of move.
So, okay. The reality is that, let me say this, the threshold is a pawn. Giving up a pawn or even 2 pawns when you're up a queen is fine. Giving up a piece to do something like open a file, unless you're going to actively deliver checkmate on that file, isn't a great idea. And here's why not. The reason why is because if you go knight f5,
thanks for resub, king.
My king is not going to remain here permanently.
Right.
You know, it's like you get a cavity on a tooth, and that tooth's going to fall out eventually. It's like consolation, you know? Because where's the king going to end up?
It's going to end up castling on the right side there.
Right, exactly. And this open file is about as important as owning a mansion and a ghost town. Like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
That's an amazing analogy that will help you never forget not to do this.
Yeah, was that something you just made up on the spot, or have you used that before?
Yeah, literally. No, because I was reading about someone yesterday, and they were born in what's now a ghost town, and I started reading about ghost towns for absolutely no reason at all. But yeah,
nice.
And that led me to the philosophy. Oh, did you know this thing? I might have brought this up to you before.
Thanks for the prime, just
something
bad.
Like 97% of Wikipedia pages.
I don't know,
if you link the first
cloud.
hyperlink in every page, do you know where it ultimately leads? 97% of the time.
Wikipedia.
Philosophy. It leads to the page on philosophy.
Okay, I did that right.
I thought it was cool. So people in your chat can confirm this. Anyways, it has nothing to do with anything. So back to the game. Now, queen e2 actually violates, and I get what you're doing now. This makes sense. And I really like the fact that you fianchettoed the bishop, because this does block the natural development of the queen. How can you develop and defend this pawn if you were playing conventionally here?
Oh, I'd just bring the knight out.
Bring the knight out, and how can you control the center on the next move?
I could either push pawn or just go d4.
Yeah, so I would go d4 and d5. The way I would go about opening the center is just d4, d5. You don't have to rush with it and complete your development first, but I actually kind of like the creativity that went into the strategy. Okay. Everything you did made sense. And the key moment, so d4, right? That makes sense. f4 would have been wrong.
Yeah.
Why?
Blocks my coverage of h4.
Exactly, and doesn't do anything to control the center development bishop.
Right.
So you take on passant, h5, chasing the knight away, bishop g5. Okay, d5. So what would I do here? d5 got you into a little bit of a tough situation. If I'm volunteering to open up a part of the board, and you're up a queen, you accept that with open arms. So what would you do?
So I just take?
Take it, absolutely. Just take the fucking pawn. Oh, take the freaking pawn. I don't even know. If there are kids watching this, they should be in school anyway, right? Or they should be enjoying their break.
Exactly.
So that's my philosophy. And now you can just castle short. Or you can prepare castling long by going knight c3. If I go bishop f5, where would you put your queen?
Well, I was looking at a4, which gets a pin on the king, kind of, but you're about to castle anyway, so probably not there. And I give up a pawn for that. So I'd probably just bring the queen. What's that?
You do give up a pawn?
Oh, no, I don't. I do cover it.
You do cover it. And actually, I like this move. Because the queen is out of the way, which is good. And it can get back into the king side. So what I want you to understand is that piece placement is temporary. When you put a piece on a square, you shouldn't think about it as that piece is going to be on that square until the end of time. And if I castle short, let's say some random shit happens, and the queen can very easily swing back to the other side of the board.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, you can use the queen to deliver a fork. Find it.
Oh, I see. I'm delivering check on b3 and taking pawn.
Exactly. Yep. And you can see that even on a4, the queen has utility.
Yeah.
So e5 and now knight a3 was the key move. Everything else you did made perfect sense. Rook c1 castles. Rook c7 was awesome. Bishop h3. Now you see that this is actually a bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
Last thing in this game. If I had actually taken on d5, how do you do damage control in a situation like this? So shit's kind of falling apart here. What do you do?
Do I start looking for attacking opportunities on king's side? So like swinging king or queen over to like g3 or something like that. And
well, then I take your rook. I'll like chop the legs off of that whole operation.
Yeah. I don't know how I save it though.
Right. So what you need to do in such situations, and this is where people really struggle.
Oh, wait. Do I bring queen to c3? Oh, no. Then you just take the queen again. Jesus. Never mind.
Right. And the problem is if you bring the queen to c1 and you try to save at least something, what does black do here? And try to go for the big prize here. Don't rush with like capturing the first piece that comes to mind.
Oh, you just deliver another fork on e2.
Fast. Good. Yeah, knight e2 check. So I would probably go about just taking on g7. If you're already losing the rook, you might as well give it up for the maximum amount of damage.
Okay.
Another thing you could do is actually give up the queen for a couple pieces. So you could play rook takes c8. Okay, what is the purpose of this move? I take your queen. Now, you don't want to take the knight yet. What do you want to do first?
I want to take a rook.
Take a rook with check. And now you're up 2 entire pieces in an endgame, which is completely winning. So that would be another thing to do. The logic should be if you're losing a piece, how do I give that piece up for the maximum amount of damage?
Okay, that makes sense.
And the story I was going to tell, I'll make it quick. When I played Bishop c8,
thanks to the Prime Star and the
I think I might have told.
Duck.
I'll keep this brief because it's not like that funny. But the story goes that Bobby Fischer was playing in an Olympiad, and I don't know if you know what an Olympiad is. Every 2 years, it's like the chess Olympics, like 150 countries. Each team is 5 players, and there's 4 boards and 1 alternate. And the Olympiad is like a big deal in the chess world because countries are able to show their superiority. You can probably guess what country was winning all the time in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Was it Russia?
It was Russia.
Wow.
But there were brief moments when Bobby Fischer came around. The U.S. was very competitive. Now the U.S. is basically top 3 every Olympiad because there's been this influx of new players. But basically, one Olympiad, Bobby Fischer was a pretty larger-than-life character, and everybody was trying to suck up to him and not piss him off.
Thanks to resub, George.
Because it was very easy to piss him off. And Bobby Fischer finishes his game, and he has his teammates over in his hotel room to analyze the game. He's showing his game. And they're all kind of in awe at his play, and they're all grandmasters. And at some point, Bobby Fischer says, and here my opponent played this move, and he starts laughing his ass off. And he can't stop laughing, and the grandmaster is watching that game. His friend was telling the story. And he's laughing for a solid 10 minutes. And eventually, all of his teammates start laughing with him. But they understand that the reason he's laughing is because that move was so freaking terrible that it caused him to just lose his shit. Except they're not understanding why the move was bad, but they're just laughing because they're afraid Fischer will think they're just as big of idiots as his opponent is. And anyways, that was the whole story.
And that's how you felt with my move?
Yeah, because I was like, why can't you take the knight? And there was this mutual understanding. Like, I know why I can't take the knight.
Oh, yeah.
But the reason is actually this fork.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and the rest you did perfectly. I mean, here, moving the queen, forking the knights, taking, and then getting the rook and sacrificing it on g6 and crashing through on g6.
Right.
So one final odds-related exercise I wanted to do, shorter time control. Remember that exercise I tortured you with in our last session? We're not going to do that full scale. We're just going to play one game. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and I'm going to give up queen and 2 rooks, and I want to see if you can beat me.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah.
And we're just going to do this once, I promise.
Fuck yeah, that one was embarrassing.
And by the way, not to keep you at any point if you want
Thanks
to.
Thanks to Bitscreen. All good, man.
Totally not trying to. Yeah, okay. So let me challenge you. 5 minutes, and I'm going to tell you give you the instructions about the first couple moves as I did.
Okay.
All right, so let's do 5-5.
This one will ruin your ego real quick.
Okay, so go move your knight out to f6. Take the queen. Bring your d pawn to d6. Take the rook. Bishop e6.
Bishop e6. Oh.
and take the rook, and now start. And this time I can confirm stuff you ask, but I basically want you to beat me.
Ooh, God, I'm already getting fucking nervous. What did that move just do? He wants to push that pawn? If I fee in Keto, let's just try it. I don't see what this is trying to do. No reason not to trade, right? I'm already up a lot of material. Right? This doesn't do anything, he's just gonna move knight. I need to move fast, fuck. I don't want to be a bitch. I'll at least play this. Can't fork me. He'll just move that. Let's just castle. What is that move looking for? I don't see it. I need to play fast. I don't see what that's looking for. I shouldn't have played this, to be honest. did I give up a... there's 2 attacks on this. I need to move fast. Fuck! I don't know where to go for this checkmate. Oh, wait, I can just... He's not... Oh, that was dumb. Hold on. I'll give that up. Yeah! Fuck yeah!
What was I worried about? What was I worried about? That was actually really nice. That was pretty smooth.
Thanks, man.
And there were times I was predicting, you know, what would the best move would be, and you made it. I really only have 1 or 2 points even to make. And I will make them. So 1 sec. And did you ever thought you'd be beating up a GM like this?
I know, I had to abuse you today. I'm sorry about that. Jesus, that was ruthless.
Nothing to apologize for.
Easy Prime Tasty,
right.
Resub Everest, Give Sub Mang, and Resub
I know I
Best
did do an analysis board.
Okay. I feel like I had a much better attacking opportunity after I made that check with the knight and the queen, but I didn't see it in time.
This was the start of the game or the end?
Towards the end. That was one
yeah,
of
I mean, toward the
moves.
end, there were several ways you could attack in a slightly more efficient way, but I'll put it this way. You didn't give me any chances. So, everything you did in the start was good. You deployed your queen. The one thing that I hope you notice is that the bishop x-rays the queen, which means I can move my knight out, let's say, to d5. And if I were to do that, where would you go with your queen? You actually have only 1 good square.
Yeah, with the only square is d8, right?
Yeah, which is okay. And again, I want to remind you, retreating moves are totally acceptable. And I was happy with your capacity to make them, just queen back, you know. And now c5 is really good, opening the center. I assume that was your idea.
Yep.
And yeah, I tried to keep the center closed. And in the chat, I have the honor of having one of the top players in the world, and he suggested the move e5. That would have probably complicated the position more. And basically, I want you to understand the idea, though. e5. If d takes e5, what is white's next move going to be?
You just take with the knight, right?
Well, then queen takes knight.
Oh, right. Okay, wait.
This is a classic pawn breakthrough.
Is it just pushing that the d5 pawn?
It's pushing the d5 pawn to d6. So I want you to calculate in your head. Pawn up to d6. What does that accomplish? What does that threaten?
It attacks my queen.
It attacks the queen. And 1 second. It attacks the queen. Queen moves away, let's say to d8. What does white do? What is going to be that follow-up to that move?
Oh, after queen falls to d8, you have pawn on d6. Do you move knight up now?
You move the knight up and take e5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so this is the idea. And I'll show you right after the game. Like, in terms of understanding how you find this stuff, that's why analyzing, when you're like full-scale going for improvement, that's why reading books is really important. That's why looking at games is important, because you see these literal concepts applied in games, and then you can transfer them to your own games. But once I took everything you did was d5 was freaking sexy as hell. This was a really, really nice idea. Sacking the pawn, getting the queen to g3. This basically ends the game. But I want you to tell me where you think you missed that bigger chance.
Where did you play after I made this move? I don't remember.
I went king f1.
Okay. So when I made the move, I thought I had a much better idea. I thought I could also take pawn, but I obviously wouldn't get anything out of it if I take your h4 pawn. I mean, I guess I take and then slide to h1 maybe, but...
Maybe, yeah, or knight to g3. I mean, there's so many ways to do it here. What I really liked about what you did is you developed the rest of your pieces. That's the principle that I want to hammer home, is never forget about the rest of your pieces. Always bring everything into the attack. That makes it a lot stronger, and you did that. The one criticism I have in this position, you don't actually need to bring your queen back. You can play rook a to e8. And
okay.
What's the idea if I just take the pawn of the knight?
I'm just swinging down at e1 for the checkmate.
There you go. Checkmate on e1, and that would have ended the game a little bit faster, but everything you did was totally fine. And rook a8 was good here, just not ignoring the knight. Yeah, perfect. I mean, you don't have to stack the rooks. You can go like rook e2 straight away.
Yeah, I actually don't even know why I stacked the rooks. I think it was like, I don't know, time pressure, just wasn't thinking, just going to like the general.
My face. And that's really what you were trying to do.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But this was well done. So just really quickly, as you were thinking, I looked up on my program here whether I could find examples of this precise breakthrough happening. And I found a couple of good examples. Here's one of them. So let's see if this actually works. The position setup is notorious. But let's see if... Can you see the position let me check your stream.
Yeah, it's a different position now. I haven't seen this.
You actually see it. So this is a game between Wolfgang Pietsch and Gunther Moring. So white was a GM. This was 1961, Germany. So that's the beauty. You can find these random games. And what do you think white does in this position?
It's white breaking through?
Yeah. So literally apply the same concept that you had in your game to this game. Because notice that black's king is uncastled and white's king is castled. So if you can open up the center, you are able to exploit in a better way the fact that black is not castled. If you need me to remind you what your idea was, or what my idea was that I could have done in the game, happy to do that.
Is it pushing that pawn up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which one?
So white's pushing up it's e5, right?
Yeah. So e5. You're clearing the path, and now?
And now you're pushing that pawn again, right, to d6?
Exactly. And you're ripping open the center, trying to keep black's king in the center. That's literally what white did. So that's what this GM did. And let's say you were to read this in a book, you wouldn't have forgotten this idea, and you would be more able to find this kind of stuff. That's how like pattern recognition works.
Mm-hmm.
A random game in like 1961 can teach you about you know, this concept. And just one more quick thing. Just 1 second. Just because I have to show you a game from the Soviet Union, because that's to pay homage to my ancestors. This is another example. You see the new position?
Yeah.
You see the bishop on c4, x-raying the king.
Right.
How do we make that x-ray come alive?
Well, we need to move the d5 pawn, which is blocked by the d6 pawn on black, so you're pushing e4.
Exactly. We need to get that pawn out. Boom. Look at this monster, and d6, black's position collapses. And white won the game. Nice. And yeah, that's Tolush. White was a very strong attacking player from the Soviet Union. Again, 1961. So anyways, just wanted to inspire you a little bit. So does this make sense? Does everything make sense in the odds game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you played perfectly, actually. So I'm pretty encouraged. So for the home stretch, what do you say? You hop back in for 1 or 2 more games, and then we'll summarize.
Sure, that works for me, man.
I need to empty my Blood Isle component.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to find a cool way to say it, and I failed.
The old chess liquid, I suppose.
Yeah, the chess liquid, exactly.
All right, I'll do the same. I'll be right back.
Perfect.
There's
Right,
the Prime
I'll
Club,
right
and the resub Super Fred, and the Bits School. And thank you from the grave. Appreciate the 690. Be right back.
All right. Had to put that Charlotte chest on a switcher on. Okay, let's see if Charlie's back. He's not. We can just stare at his room. Welcome back, guys. Thank you, Reynolds. Hope you guys are enjoying. Hope you guys are enjoying.
What the fuck is up, pussies? I'm back in it.
Welcome back. Thanks, Nehemiah, for the raid. Really appreciate it.
I'm back, baby.
Fantastic. So let's finish off the pool. You prefer 5 or 10 minute?
I've been liking 5. It keeps me playing quick.
Yeah, that keeps. I mean, you might lose a couple on time, but I like the fact that you're moving toward getting a little bit faster.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever you're ready. Of course. JMDM Okay, the Sicilian.
Damn. What was the line that you told me to play here? Is it pushing D4 next?
G4, correct.
Okay.
We want to. That's called the open. Literally called the open Sicilian. Okay. Now you don't want to. Again, you don't want to react to this because if he takes your knight, you can simply take with the queen. So you can just develop normally.
Yep.
Bingo. Now your bishops. Where do they belong?
Isn't it F4? Or yeah, F4 for this bishop.
Even more. Oh, so you mean the light squared bishop?
The dark square bishop.
More active than F4. F4 blunders a fork to E5, so you can put it on G5.
I see. Okay.
So yeah, if you put it on F4, he goes E5 back. Ooh. Okay.
That's kind of wacky. I don't know how to exploit that though.
So think about his knight on F6. He's actually weakened his control over that knight. If you take the knight on F6, notice that he has to ruin his entire pawn structure by taking with that pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do that.
You think that's worth? Okay.
It is worth it because his pawn structure is going to be terrible. Now I would immediately prepare queenside castle because you were going to attack him on the king side, and you want to tuck your king away on the queen side.
Okay, and what is the most active development for queen? Is it going over here to like f3?
Well, your queen's defending the knight, so
I have
you
to
want to
keep
keep
her
it on the
here.
d file.
Right.
And I would put it on d2. I would prevent black's bishop from coming out to h6 and stopping you from castling. So, and if he plays bishop g7 and fianchettos, look at that pawn on d6. You see that it's weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's undefended by any other pawns. Sorry. You heard me there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now he's attacking your knight. How can you defend it? Where can you put it?
Yeah, I just need to move it. There's nothing else I can defend it with. Do I just drop it back to like either? Well, what's better?
Well, b3 would be good because
Yeah.
that stops him from taking the pawn on b2.
Okay.
Yeah, just a low-key move, but it's a good one. Thanks, Best Beetle, for gifting. And look at his queen on b6. You can attack that queen in the future by playing... Okay, actually. Complete the development first.
So now I'm castling queen side.
Mm-hmm.
And then to attack the queen, is it bringing the knight over to a4?
So that brings the knight to the rim. Can you actually... Okay, so first he takes this.
Do I take back with the c pawn, or does it not really matter here?
Doesn't matter. C pawn is good. Keeping that a pawn where it closes up the a file. Whoa! Holy smokes! Whoa, God, that came out of nowhere. Oh my god! That literally caused a physical reaction.
I could hear you fucking fall out of your chair there for a second. I thought I'd lost you.
I rolled back from my desk. The confidence with which this movement, it was like with gusto.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's not relax. You have some developing to do.
Yeah, I can just develop it. Is it just b5 here for the check?
Yeah, I'm like that mother that tells the child to finish their oatmeal, even though he just won the lottery or something.
Yeah.
Finish that oatmeal.
This could be his like legendary line. This could be the one the history books remember him for.
The secondary trackster. So now you have a fork. Actually, let's practice that thing I tortured you with previously.
Mm-hmm.
What are the undefended pieces and pawns? How can you attack two of them?
Okay, so right now undefended pawns are d6. It's defended by bishop, but no pawns. f6. Oh,
f6 is completely undefended, and the knight is completely undefended. It's
right here.
Forks. His legendary... I think really the mistake that he made wasn't to take the... Okay, whoa. But careful. There's a trap that's hiding under the surface. Now you can take the pawn.
Yeah.
But if he moves his king out, you actually can't take the rook. And that is the bottom line of... That's his entire point of his variation, I think. Let's see. If he covers with the bishop, that would be very sad. I think he just might, though. I think he might unfortunately cover with his bishop. Or resign.
This guy's got some goofy strats. I wouldn't put it by him. So, well, I guess I'll wait.
Ah, I moved his king. So you can't take the rook. Why?
Let me see. If I take rook, he just... Oh, yeah. He's just gonna move bishop, right?
Check on h6. So you can do the next best thing. Take the stuff that you can take.
Yeah, do I just want to take this pawn then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He's probably going to go king to b6. And then you have kind of a sexy move. All right, guys. What is my chat doing? What are you guys drawing? All right, guys.
Thanks for the resub, Magnetic.
Okay, so okay, so you have a sexy move here. You can deliver a check to a4 with the knight. And I want you to do that, but I want you to tell me why we're not blundering the bishop once you do it. You can play the move because you've got a minute.
Okay.
He might think you blundered your bishop. That's what I'm hoping. Yes, he did. Okay, checkmate. Find it.
It's just c4, right?
Ooh, that's even sexier than the mate I had in mind.
Really?
I was thinking a pawn with mate, but that's even cooler because you drop the piece back. Yes.
Cool.
Nice. Thank you for listening. Exactly.
Which one? Which one did you say?
Queen takes b7, checkmate.
Ah, okay, I see. Yeah, well, this is the one I saw right away. I thought this was kind of cute.
Oh, that's really nice. I mean, because the knight from the rim is defending b6.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, queen takes b3 made it a little bit easier for you. But everything was pretty straightforward. What do you say we do one last one for the road?
I'm ready. So that queen play he made, was that an accident, or did he actually get anything out of that? The
No,
one that, like,
zero.
start...
I mean, it's
Okay.
literally a queen for a pawn. I think it might have been a mouse left, like one of those things where you accidentally like pre-move something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, other than that, I mean, I honestly have no
Basically,
idea.
prime right, shield,
I
negative
wonder
sub,
what went
depol,
through that
negative sub,
guy's mind.
force.
We'll never find out. Okay, e3. Interesting. The Van Cruys opening.
Yeah, it had to be a mouse slip. That man probably had a worse reaction than Daniel.
Maybe he'll play e4 and transpose to being black.
Oh, this is a real thinker, it seems here.
Yeah, Santa Claus. I think he's busy delivering presents to people. Okay. Nice. Defending the pawn. This is like a reverse French, basically.
In a position like this, a lot of times what I do is just push e4. Is that a good move or not?
It is. You close up the center. That's a different type of position. And one of the next steps to improvement is to be able to play skillfully these types of positions. Now what?
No, I just protect with
Yeah,
knight.
knight f6 is fine, defending. And if you want to defend the pawn further, he'll probably go knight c3, which would not be his... Okay, c3. Wow, that is not very active. You want to make sure that pawn on e4 is as well protected as possible. So with that in mind, what do you want to do?
I want to go d5.
There you go. And for the record, his best move would be to undermine this pawn chain by bringing his pawn... Okay, he does that. Wow. That's impressive after going c3. So now what you want to do, that pawn on e4, you see that it's going to become weak after he takes d5.
Yeah.
So basically you want to preemptively defend it as many times as possible so that you don't lose that pawn once he takes on d5. How do you do that?
I just developed the bishop over to f5.
Yes. Yeah, close positions can be annoying, but okay, so he takes. What do you take?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, developing queen here and going castle long, is that a good idea, or do I just want to take with
That's
knight?
interesting. If you take with the queen, he'll develop his knight to c3 and he'll attack your queen.
Okay.
So that's really honestly the litmus test for when you take with the queen. Can he attack your queen with one of his pieces?
Okay.
He does it anyway. So do you want to take?
No, doesn't it make his pawn chain stronger if I take, because he takes back with the pawn?
On the other hand, he's attacking your pawn on e4.
Right.
So this would be a good time for a retreating move.
So
Which one?
I just bring it back to its original f6.
Exactly. Defending the pawn. Okay. Now here's the thing. He is kind of threatening to take the pawn, but I would sacrifice that pawn. I'd do something pretty cool here. I would just develop normally, which means that bishop from f8. What would be a nice active defended square for it?
Just bringing it up to d6.
Yeah. And here's the thing. He'll probably take the pawn in about 5 seconds. Yep.
Yeah.
Now you want to take once. And what you'll notice here is that there's a pin, right? What do you want to take with?
I want to take with bishop to attack queen, yeah?
No, but then he'll take the bishop. You want to take with the knight to preserve the pin.
Oh, I see.
And now you can deliver a check to an exposed flank. And you'll see what the result is. What check am I talking about?
You're talking about b4?
Bingo. Here's the problem. He's probably going to very quickly cover that with a bishop. You said he was a thinker. I think you jinxed him. Now he's playing... Go ahead.
Okay.
He'll probably go bishop to d2, would be my guess.
Right.
And then once you take it, can he take back with the queen?
No, because then he gives up the knight.
There you go. That's the power of the pin. He has to move his king out into the center. That's a pretty disastrous consequence. That's worth the freaking pawn. So go ahead.
Okay.
But you see the logic of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Now you need to complete your development, though.
Yeah, it's
which means
just castling kingside.
Yeah. And the plan is his best move is, well, that's a good move actually, but you can actually get that bishop off the board with one move.
Can't I fork them at b4?
Yeah. So technically, it's not a fork because you're not going to win the bishop, but you're going to take it and restore the pin.
Yeah, attacking 2 pieces.
Yep.
You
got your prize. Take the bishop.
Can't he just take back with the king though? Oh, it still keeps the pin. I see.
Yeah, well, he does.
Yeah.
No, you're not winning anything. You're just restoring. Yeah. Now you want to open up the center because a pin is most exploitable if you can rip apart the center.
Okay. To do that, are we looking at c5 here?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And if he takes that, okay, yeah, he's actually started to play really, really well, but you can open up the center.
So I'm still taking. That didn't change that.
Yeah. Open it. Now, if he takes with a pawn, which you probably will, you want to find a way to attack that d4 pawn. To attack it, you need to get a rook to d8, and you need to move the queen to a square where it pressures the pawn. Which square am I talking about?
d5?
Or b6, because then that leaves the rook to attack the pawn alone, if that makes sense.
Okay, so b6 is... Or wait.
Yeah.
You
Queen b6 is
okay.
good because also you're attacking the b2 pawn.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, this guy has all of us... Okay. So what now? Now you can just take the free pawn on b2.
Is that better? Do I want to set up for this d8 pin?
Well, if you go to d8, he'll move his king back. I think that's the idea of his last move. So you need to change your plans a little bit, take some pawns.
I get you.
Okay, now what?
Now I'm going d8. Oh, wait, no, I can just swing over here for this g2.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably going to go rook to d2. I think I know the type of player he is. He's going to put something on the second rank.
I'm hoping it's his queen. And then I get a...
Well, that would be kind of good, though.
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
Okay, first rank. He blunders another pawn.
Yeah, so now I'm still just taking this h2.
Okay, now you're 2 pawns up. Now the knight on e4 is what you need to be paying attention to. That knight is... Okay, he moves it and he... Actually, you've got checkmate. You don't even need to take his knight. Look at his king. His king is confined, which means if you give him a check, it's going to be mate. What do?
Is it just going to g3?
Nope. Queen is guarding the king. What other checkmate? He's opened up the e file. Put a rook there.
Oh, and then he takes and I take back. I see.
Checkmate.
Yeah.
So pre-move rook takes e8. He's probably going to think you blundered the rook. If he brings his knight back to e4, which would be the correct move, you can take the knight with the bishop. And now it's going to be checkmate. Yeah, go ahead and deliver the mate.
Oh, whoops. Well.
Now, but take your time after queen e2.
Yeah.
Which way do you take the queen?
What's that?
Which way do you take the queen?
What do you mean?
Okay, what is the mate here?
It's just taking the queen with queen.
Oh yeah, with the queen. Just making sure you know that.
Yeah, okay. You scared me for a second.
Yeah, with 6 seconds, like, oh my god.
I looked at the clock and panicked.
Well, for certain stretches. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just panicked there at the end there for a second. I thought I had less time.
Alright, your balls like froze. Oh my god. So, okay, let's very quickly talk about it, then maybe make a couple summarizing points. And what do you say to that?
Sounds good.
Alright, let me invite you. Wow, you're really winning these games with seconds on the clock. Photo finishes. So basically, okay. Turbo Fisto.
Thanks to the resub T Rich in the Prime hoodie.
Yeah, invited.
Thanks to the resub Gaming Humor.
Invite?
No, toss it one more time.
Sure. I was like, you're not even gonna reply to me when I'm inviting you to something. An asshole, are you?
Well, I've already beaten you once today. I don't respect you anymore.
It's gotten to your head.
Yeah.
Got it. That's exactly what I feared. So basically here, this move makes sense, right? Attacking the base of the pawn chain. When there's a pawn chain, you want to attack the base, like removing the Jenga block from the bottom, right? So everything collapses. So you're overprotecting the e4 pawn, bringing the knight back. And now you're sacrificing it. This is the key concept. Because of the pin, his queen is immobilized, which means his queen can't move away from this diagonal, and he's understaffed in the other parts of the board, if that makes sense. So you make his king move, because he can't take with the queen, he would blunder his knight.
So I had a question for that position. Before you move the bishop, would it have been viable to just attack the queen on b4 to try and relinquish the control it has over e4?
That's a good move conceptually, but it's a blunder tactically, because he can take on d6 with check.
Okay.
And what can he do?
And then he just takes bishop.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were castled, for example, that would be a perfectly good move. So castling here would also be possible to set that up, but he would probably stop it. So now you castle, and knight b4, right? I wanted to make clear that you're not actually winning any pieces here immediately, but the bishop on d3 is an annoying piece because it blocks the pin, and it lets his queen have mobility. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And now opening the center. So if he had taken on c5, how specifically do you win the piece here?
I just take the knight with bishop, right?
Exactly. And because of the other pin, you just win a piece.
Yeah.
So he goes f3, which is a really good move. He's protecting the knight. Now queen b6. Why not queen d5? This is the concept of like the queen as the supporting actress. If you play queen d5, look what happens. You go rook, let's say white makes something random. And now you're like, great, you take the pawn. And white just says, big shit, you trade queens, okay? And you've won only a pawn. Now let's compare this to if you put the queen on b6 as you did. Now what do you take the pawn with?
The rook.
Exactly. And you pin the queen. So you see the queen is supporting the rook and the rook is doing the actual capturing.
Oh, okay.
Because of the logic that winning the queen is best done with as weak of a resource as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when you're thinking of piling,
Thanks, the prime
what is
keys
the
X.
conclude specific rule here? When you're piling up on a pawn, you usually don't want the queen to lead that operation. You want the queen to be the general from behind, normally.
Okay, that makes sense.
Also, you have this one thing, which is that this is the form of tunnel vision where you want it to go here.
Yeah.
Do you see what white would have done had you done that? Look, what was the idea of this move? This was actually kind of a sensible idea.
He was just going to move his king out of the way?
Yes, and that helps make his king safer, and the fact of the matter is, this is not the important pawn anymore. Now you want to take here.
Okay.
What if you had gone to this queen? What would you have?
I could have delivered a check at b4 and then... Well, that's not very good.
Close, but he's relinquished his control over something.
Yeah, he's got the knight just hanging now.
No, that knight is defended.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man.
Very close to getting something chopped off right now.
Yeah, he just left the pawn open. He just left the pawn open.
Pawn open.
Yeah.
So, again, it's always about making a map of the board. What is weak? What do I need to watch for? And you need to watch those things constantly. Okay, has he relinquished his control over that? Right? And here the pawn would be high on your list. So now takes. And here, the key concept. What can you do here? What's the obvious move that wins a lot of material?
Taking the knight.
Taking the knight. But rook e8 check. The point is the queen is cutting off the king. Kind of like the checkmate we learned at the start of our, shindig. Remember we learned the two rooks made that time in the 1970s. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's back when we were young and, we were still going on runs and stuff. And now we're old men sitting around computers.
Just old veterans, yeah.
Those days, I hung out with Carol Traxler. I mean,
a good man.
Yeah, at least it's not, because Carol is a name, and then Karen is an Armenian name. So I have a friend whose name is Karen. It's pronounced Karen, but people look at it and they're like, "What? Karen Gregorian?" And they're like, "Hi, Karen," but it's actually a middle name in Armenia. So same with Carol. I guess Carol is also a female name in the U.S. But anyways, rook e8. You deliver. The queen holds the king down, and if he takes on e8, then what do? You
just take back e8.
Thanks for the gift to the tier 2 Dominican. Appreciate it. This is just checkmate.
Yeah.
Knight e4, bishop takes c4. Last question to you. You better end on a high note, or I'll chop those nuts up right before you escape. If he goes queen e2, what is the best move for black? And what I'm really asking you here is it a good idea to take the queen? Is there anything better?
I don't see why you wouldn't just go h1. Isn't that, or not h1, g1? Isn't that just checkmate?
King can escape.
Oh, she gets a square. Oh.
you need to watch for is this,
Yeah.
right? What does your brain need to signal to? The queen and the king are on the same file, which means what?
That means
And
if
you have
it's X-rayed, so if I just get the bishop out of the way, she can't attack, so I just take pawn.
You can also just, like, while you're at it, you can just take on f3.
Right.
Like bishop frickin' b1 is good. It's about the theme, exploiting the theme here of the queen being X-rayed and pinned and won. Exactly. And by the way, if rook d2, bishop b1, rook d2, find the checkmate in one move. Now it's your move.
Well, yeah, now that the square is cut off, now it is just g2 or g1.
Exactly. And here he takes, you take, it's checkmate. Very good. So things to watch for. Conclusions. You're still very sharp at like one move tactics and stuff. You're not blundering pieces. And how does it feel? Like, do you feel relatively in the zone, sharp? Is there anything that you kind of struggle with so I can factor that in?
Just time again, yeah. And priorities. I don't really know when I should be taking pawns or looking for something better. Like when the pawns are free, I'll typically look for something better still.
And I know even with pieces, sometimes there's a free piece,
but
you're looking at like winning the queen.
Spooky Kiwi and skate.
And that's something that, you know, we'll definitely break down is when do you take a pawn, when do you look for something more? And also, I know you're dreading, but we'll eventually have to do that exercise with me giving you like 1 minute and having you win positions with like down a queen and yours. I actually think that helped. You've gotten like noticeably faster. And
I think so.
I'm not going to pretend that that's a spillover all from that, but I think that definitely contributed. So by and large, I'm happy with where you are. I think you've got the basics down. And I'm just, you know, again, I'm really grateful that you made time for this. I know it's not easy to get abused by me.
It's always welcomed. It's good abuse, I would say. Some of the best I've ever experienced.
You're just making me blush now.
The gentle fist, they call you.
Well, they call you the turbo fist. Well, all right, I think that was a good amount of time. I think I packed you with enough information, tortured you enough. I'll let you do overdoses on ketamine and other such stuff.
I just lost the record, man. I just lost the world record on that game.
You set the record and then someone freaking broke it?
Yeah, I think it was last night at like 3 a.m. It got beaten by 0.5. I'm gonna have to try.
You better get on that shit.
I know, I'm gonna have to try.
Alright, the next time I talk to you, this record better be yours.
Hopefully it will.
I'm just kidding. I would never do something like that to you.
No, I know, you're too nice.
Way too nice. All right, Charlie. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you. Thanks again. Always a pleasure. This makes my day.
Of course, man. Are you still streaming?
Yeah, I'll probably go for another hour or so.
Okay, I'll toss the chat your way because I'm gonna head out for like 4 or 5 hours and then hit it again later. So I will talk to you later, man.
You're just way too nice. All right, looking forward to another session soon. Thanks, Charlie.
Me too, man. See ya.
See ya.
I'm gonna head out for like 4 hours-ish, so I'll be back on tonight at like 8. Don't know what we'll do then, but we'll figure it out. Thanks everyone, and thanks for the tier 1, Dark. And the bits grow. Good to see you grow. Thanks everyone for tuning in. To everyone who donated, a big thank you. New subs, welcome aboard. The sub means a lot to me, so thank you for the generosity. I hope you enjoy the emotes. Like I said, I'll toss you to Daniel now. He was the one that was just training me there. He's doing chess speedruns. I don't know if he's doing that today, but if he is, you're in for a treat. That shit's really cool. So, thanks again everyone. I will see you tonight. See ya.